Hello, my name is Brian Bear, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Chase Sapphire case, creating a millennial cult brand. Now, the primary focus for our discussion today is what kind of customers are good customers, what makes them good customers, what design choices can we make to keep them, and then did Chase succeed in its attempt with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card? Now, first, we're going to look at how the case defines the three main customer types. There are transactors, revolvers, and dormants. Now, for our purposes, we can consider both transactors and revolvers positive customer elements. Dormants are, for the most part, are primary negative customer elements. Now, for the case of transactors and revolvers, both will spend $16,000 per year on average, with a credit balance carried only for revolvers. Transactors are typically going to be paying off their entire statement every month without carrying over any, so we're losing out on interest generation with those types of customers. Now, the interest rate on average across all customers is 21%, but again, that's not going to apply for our transactors since they're not holding an account balance. And both the transactors and revolvers are likely to renew the card for the $450 annual fee. Now, that is the ideal. We want to be able to retain as many customers as possible that are actively making us money. Now, that needs to be mentioned because of the dormants. They're going to spend the minimum amount to earn the sign-on bonuses, which are pretty extravagant with these kinds of programs to try to pull customers in, but they will not carry any credit balance, and they'll likely just shelve the card immediately after getting the welcoming bonus and then not renewing, so losing out on that source of income as well. Now, it seems a little silly to say, but what makes a customer good is profitability. Now, revolvers are the ideal customer because they are consistently renewing the card, they are holding a interest-paying balance, and if they like the product, which in the case of the Chase Sapphire Reserve they typically do, they're more likely to attract other customers through word of mouth. Now, this is extremely vital for this kind of select program because prestige is part of it, and if they have a positive experience, they're going to be more likely to pull in others. Now, transactors, they're not holding an account balance and they're only paying the fees, so it's very likely that, strictly speaking, from the customer side, they may not be profitable. But if they are, again, having a good experience and sharing this with others, they are more likely to pull in other revolver customers that will be more profitable. And additionally, every time they do use the card, the company is making money off of those places where the purchases are being made as part of the transaction fee. So even if they aren't paying interest, as long as they aren't strictly taking the sign-on bonuses, they're still generally going to be a more profitable option, and they are good across the board for helping out the numbers in that regard. Now, we don't want what would be considered a parasitic customer, which is the dormants, where they are generating more in expenses than they are earning for the company because they are not making many purchases, are not holding a balance, and they're unlikely to renew. So our goals should be to maximize revolver customers, have as many transactor customers as are positive as possible, while limiting retention of dormants. Now, how can we go about that? So looking at design options, it's obvious very early on that travel was the major focus of the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. It is one of the major parts of their success when considered with their social media presence and their celebrity endorsements, and them leaning into this category rewarded them particularly well because travel and experiences are a bigger concern to millennials than more materialistic things. This spawned a wave of copycats with American Express copying this design almost immediately after the launch of the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and they also tried adopting the 5 times travel points, going over Chase Sapphire Reserve's 3 times travel points, but didn't have quite the success since Chase Sapphire Reserve was kind of the pioneering option in this regard. Now, the reason I say it's important to lean into a particular category, whether it be travel and experiences or rewarding yourself, as we'll go into later with how Chase has adapted due to COVID, we're going to look at these graphs from Exhibit 3 in the case itself, where we can see what items are most likely to retain a customer for a longer period of time, and what of these appealing features generate the most income relatively to each other. Now, I've put these two side by side because I think they are the most important to consider for our design elements. We can easily see that under no annual fee, it is by far the most popular and easiest way to capture a customer segment for 10 years or more. So you would think that maybe that is a route that should be looked into for increasing our retention, which is a desire here. But we can see, if we look over to the graph on the right, that no annual fee does not really increase the amount spent for these appealing features. And there's another graph not included, also in Exhibit 3, that shows that if you have no annual fee, you're actually less likely to have transactions per month because there isn't a pressing need for them to have consistent transactions for the benefits of the card. So if we ignore that, we have a lot more options going forward that are more profitable that we can try to focus in on. In the case of the Chase Sapphire Reserve, airline miles were a major focus, and bonus on specific charges for generating those points also has a higher retention possibility. So we can look here, airline miles, almost up to 30% on the survey, and bonus on specific purchases, also 30%. And we can see, if we look to the right, that in the highest category of spending, we have airline miles for each purchase maxing out in that category. So we have high purchase amounts, which are more likely to stay on generating interest from month to month, and they're the kind of thing that our customers are more directly looking for. So moving forward, did Chase succeed? Short-term profitability-wise, without a doubt, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card ended up being massively popular and still holds a lasting pop culture longevity that you rarely see with this kind of business. Now, in the years following, the big concern was, what is retention going to be like with such lucrative sign-on bonuses and less substantial bonuses going forward after that with such a high fee? Well, retention was extremely solid. Spending rose on all cards over the following year, and revenue rose significantly as a result of this. And the Chase Sapphire Reserve card had a massive 90% plus retention rate, renewal rate, going into the pandemic. Now, we don't have the statistics for the last year since COVID has hit, but Chase has done a number of bold changes to try to keep the interest alive, since travel isn't as popular, with the pandemic shutting down most of the safe options to do that. They have instead converted to a reward yourself program, where those travel points that you would normally be accruing for flights can instead be used for luxury items, comfort items, things in your own area, which gives them a lot more versatility, and they have managed to still cater to millennial interests while not able to engage in the normal experience path they would normally take. So Chase has certainly succeeded, and their design elements could be used in other industries in a similar way by appealing to that desire for experience.